I was going to read a few poems as I publish sponsored scarce publications of magazines. We collect stuff into an annual date book, and this is the Need to Do 2015 date book. So I was going to grab a couple of them from this month and just read them, just to fill some space, so you can hear some poetry. This first one is by Kelly House Shammerford, and this is called The Burden of Marriage. When alcohol strips bare the pretense of documents made official before the eyes of God, and I dig deep for the courage to stare into the mirror of truth, reflecting in my eyes. I am not greeted by fire or desire, raging wild, but the slow, controlled burn of obligation, raising your soul. And I know I am but a burden to bear. This one is a poem by Eric Burbridge, who often sends stories to us, but we've got a very short poem of his called Quiet. A cloud of pollen surrounded the machine. I sneezed and finished the landscaping. Sunlight pierced the haze and stimulated the imagination. I reclined, the glove, soft leather. Pretty faces spread news and fear on high-definition pixels. DVR temptation distracted momentarily. Discipline prevailed, and a power button restored tranquility. Sunlight drenched the family room. A squirrel paused on the windowsill. It nibbled on acorn and moved on. Admiration of manicured landscapes soothed wounded creativity. What beauty will come out of this silence? Crazy music. This is an older piece by Lynn Lifshin, and it is called Kent State, May 1970. The ROTC building, still smoking. The guard moves in, feet on the new grass. By Monday, just afternoon sirens, blood sinking into the warm ground. Parents pick up the phone that burns their hands. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hi there, welcome to the Chicago Gallery right here at Gallery Cabaret. I happen to have, should I turn that down because it seems kind of, that's why I faded out by getting it away from my mic, we'll see. Lagoons Editions has a Lagoon Sessions thing that's coming up with John Good. I happen to have this in my brochure, in my folder here, if anybody was interested in this on Friday, May 27th, or 22nd, rather. But I should not talk about that, but it's about two absolutely phenomenal features this evening. That's just way too loud. That's just way too loud. I can't even hear myself think. But we've got, I try to get features and open micers that come from a long distance. Sometimes I get somebody from Kenosha or towards Indiana. But I managed to get somebody from Leeds. I managed to get somebody from across the pond. Ladies and gentlemen, Oz Hardwick is one of our features this evening. I'm so looking forward to hearing what he's got to say. I really am. I don't know how long he's been in town either, but I'm just about that he's here. And as an added bonus, we do happen to have, a lot of people know him as the musician Cousin Bones, the blues singer, and I believe he's got an album release party. I see you, my darling! And I believe he's got an album release thing coming on here this Saturday. But he is going to be doing poetry here, and this, I believe, will be the last time he is doing poetry here in Chicago, because he's going to be moving. He's going to be leaving us. So everybody is going to give it up. Please give it up for Wes. Hi, come on, yeah. In the meantime, now I have to remember who's on my list. I think, I'm going to call up my girl. Should I call up my girl? I'm going to put my girl in the middle. Joffre, are you up for going first, my darling? Please, ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Joffre Stewart. Can I ask Tressa, can you turn up the light over here so we can read a little bit better? That would thrill me. Wow, and that was light. Awesome, thank you.
I'll do three. The first title, the first is a numeral, XC. My birthday comes on a false Good Friday, 100 years after year 2 of that first great war for Israel, 100th year for founding of the Women's International League for Peace and Freedom, whose members in Hyde Park, Chicago, turned out for Dixiecrat Goldwater and the atomic bomb. A birth date for Khrushchev, but false, 2 weeks late for the nailing of the Jesus, who was no friend of the Caesar, who gave Chewy a job seeking to replace a Mossad man, favored by money changers, biblically condemned, and was nailed for refusing to render unto Caesar what Jesus would go after him for. A false Good Friday on a botched up Catholic worker calendar, 2 days after the tax day, on which I threw 919 arguments against subservience to the tax collector. Skipping poetry at Gallery Cabaret, 919 against subserving revenuers, serving the pilates of Boston, holding Starnayev, apparently named like Caesar, under judgment for violence, the violence that politicizes them all. Title, Coca-Cola is boycotted on behalf of Colombian labor and the Palestinians. As corruptions of socialism and charity find excuses to parade their life-defying missiles, opponents of the death penalty stay on course to save Tsarnaev from the death penalty. Some by smashing the state, others by prayer in every direction from Earth's center to where the recipient might be tuning up a severely defective hearing aid. And all with about equal effect on the cold hearts of prosecutors, appealing to surrogates of Pilate to equal their inhumanity. Although, as with me, some put tax resistance into the contradictions to the state. Tsarnaev, who heated up politics with a pressure cooker, so much like devotees of Isis, humble imitators of Elizabeth Ace, and others in a dynasty honored royally, sometimes with same insular accent, high-tech ISIS using media means invented for nuclear war, killing good and kind-hearted people, even helpful people, always innocent people, even perhaps of tax paying. So much like the very criminally U.S. justice system, which should give us pause. The pause for which poem ends here. Title, Before Turning on the Radio to Find Out About the Weather. The epigraph is from Sherman Skolnick, who was reported murdered by Mossad 9 years ago this month. Report from anonymous source. New York City firemen, there were bombs in the building. Cyberspaceaudit.com. Crucial info evidence. Explosives toppled WTC. As we watch power turn war protesters, not pacifists, into warmongers, draft reneged Clinton, bombing Iraq, bombing Afghanistan, bombing Iraq again, all brightly wiping out 500,000 children, bombing the Serbs, and qualifying as war criminal by killing 250 Kosovars, and leaving going to Baghdad to a Bushman who found a way to fly away from Vietnam, and with Cheney, who found his own way to keep his name off the Vietnam Memorial, so that voters could bring him up on the tax base to put 3 holes in the World Trade Center and 1 in the Pentagon. Thus we come to one drone master POTUS becoming too young to dodge a draft, but senior enough to deploy a Kerry who threw medals at a Congress, anybody's medals, an insincerity that qualifies him to become Secretary of State of War in Ukraine, whilst doing his earnest best to get Palestinians to surrender to robbery. Today, opponents of the death penalty will know what they win in a Boston that cheers patriots who throw rogue pigskins under pressure, sports imitating politics, but inanely and enthusiastically on multiple flat screens, mostly ignored by guzzlers, oft averse to poetry, and too much minding their own business, none of which makes peace in the world. Thank you.
People are signing up. I'm like, wait, I gotta go introduce our next awesome region. And I think it was awesome that as soon as he started, me and Bob started on the hook. There were bombs in the building. I'm sorry, I love it. Because I even sampled that in for reading something about a periodic table bomb. How crazy is that? But in the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, I had to splice in and get some girls in here, so give it up for Annabelle Echo. Annabelle, my darling, where are you, my darling? We're not too short, I'm just giant. Ready?
I always admire tall women.
And I'm like, the tallest. Hi. Is that good for your height? Awesome. You can adjust your awesome.
Okay. Yesterday I had lunch with Ed Roberson. My brush with greatness. Whenever I get up and my mind goes totally blank, I could say something about Tsarnaev, but the CIA, as to Joffre, might come after me. And there was something else you brought up that I was interested in. Okay, sorry. I've been getting a lot of tweets and other types of rude text inquiries concerning one of my many ex-husbands, Mr. Mothballs. Instead of trying to answer each and every one of my fans individually, I am posting this visual and textual portrait illustrating him and describing our relationship. To Mr. Mothballs, regarding my tears. My tears whirl around your revolving door, making circles on the floor. Okay, and Mr. Mothballs is a hybrid feline human, and he's portly, and he wears very nice wool suits. That's why he needs, they're tailor-made, so that's why he needs mothballs. That's the name. This is not real. The problem is that when I start drink just even this much beer, I start feeling like Amy Winehouse on Oliver Show. I'm gonna have to sing this without the notes. I'm just gonna sing it straight. I'm planning a trip, going out to Air Force One, where they found all that stuff. They're out there, man. I'm flying in a plane, and I'm always hallucinating. But who really knows what I'm looking at, know what I'm saying? You think there's little green men out there, little green men know they could be made of water. I don't really know. Who knows, dude? Who knows? But there's no proof. You're right, there's no proof. But there's no proof of Jesus. That's just kind of how I see things. I'm planning a trip. I'm going out to Air Force One, where they found all that stuff. They're out there, man. I seen them out in Aurora, Texas. They're out there, man. On the good ship Lollipop. I'm flying in a plane, and I'm always hallucinating. But who really knows what I'm looking at, know what I'm saying? I'm planning a trip, going out to Air Force One. Air Force One, where they found all that stuff. They're out there, man. Thanks.
Is that all we get, my darling?
Well, I could read a haiku.
Do you guys want to hear a haiku from this
Yeah.
family?
Yeah.
Get out of
Okay, here's I'll read this, okay, I love San Francisco, so I wrote this one about San Francisco, okay. Cold air whirls around knees, weather changes. 1,000 tablets buys 325 milligrams at Safeway. And the reason I wrote that was there's this old Chinese man, and he had they don't sell them that big in Chicago. I swear to God, it was the biggest bottle of aspirin I ever saw, so I wrote that about the old Chinese. Okay, here's another, okay. This one is Chicago, okay. Lone little girl rides yellow bus, looks out first row window, sneak, smile, and cookie.
Awesome. Thank you,
Enjoying Janet. Hi. As I've said, as you see us with the crazy camera equipment here, that is because, as Joffre has heard too many times, I'm in cahoots with the NSA and that we are trying to monitor everything that you do. And so we video record the open mics and the features. That means that the features and the open mics will become a podcast. And I see my next open mic going, what am I going to look at? And it will become a podcast, for a weekly podcast, and it will also be uploaded to a YouTube video. So if you're like, hey, I'd like to read, but I really don't want to be on video, present, let me know and I'll pull it. But otherwise, you will have us on YouTube. So just letting you know. And the other announcement that I have to do is that I have to do my appropriate da-da-da-da. I'm showing off my purple bag, and it's not because I drink Crown Royal, it's because you should put your life savings, I mean really, for splitting it for 2 different features, which I'm going to pass this, and I don't know if you guys want to do this or not. I'm going to put in more money because I deserve it. So I'm going to pass this bag around. If you see it, know that everything in here is going to be split between both UK poet Oz Hardwick and Wes Hine in his final poetry reading in Chicago. It never makes me cry. So do anything you can. I guess even do a change or something. And in the meantime, please give it up for our next open micer. Please give it up for Bob Lawrence. Bob, my darling.
What happened to
Oh, this thing.
Oh, yeah, sure. We can get that one over. I don't
By the way, I'm going to be featuring at a tall grass reading at the bookseller on Friday at 7 o'clock for anybody who's interested in some wild stuff.
Yay!
Here's a little poem called Laundromat Scene. If there is a jewel of loneliness, its brightest facet must shine when you are single, unattached, and watching your clothes tumble in semi-random flops and rolls in a rumbling laundromat dryer. You sit on a one-piece plastic chair, try to dive into your paperback, but blinded by the light of the jewel, you get up and pace, as if mere motion will shield you from the jewel's dreary brightness. You are the last customer. The others, islands all, have stuffed their freshly folded clothes and left. The front door opens. The janitor, 30s, slouching and grinning, his voice a twang from the hills of Appalachia. You think people would clean up after themselves? He picks up scattered detergent boxes. The place reeks of Tide and grime. The boss is coming in to get the quarters. He don't trust nobody with nothing. 10 minutes more, and your last load will be dry. The janitor pulls a string head mop from the closet, soaks it in the sink, and walking backwards, slops figure eights across the floor. The mop smells worse than the large mammal house at the Lincoln Park Zoo. That mop smells like a dead animal, you exclaim. The janitor replies, new mop heads cost money. What sense does it make to clean something with something that's dirtier than what you're cleaning? I'm just doing my job, mister. The mop head thwacks the washers and dryers lining the floor. The door opens again. The boss, squat and balding, a petty thug from a gangster movie. The janitor, his feelings hurt, moans about that guy over there who complained about his mop. The boss conjures up a scene where the janitor humps a female customer. The two men laugh and slap each other. You stuff your dry laundry unfolded into a sack and rush out into the awaiting night. Can I do one more?
Yes, you can.
All right. It's kind of interesting. This is on my son's old folder here. It says, "Fight for the truth. There are many versions of every story, many sides to every issue. The truth is always there, hidden away, disguised, elusive. Look for it, seek it out, find it, and keep your peace until you do. When you find it, fight for it, defend it, grasp it with claws of steel." And I think of that when I read this poem. If I had the power, the literature canon would open for George Carlin and Henry Miller, for comic strips and graphic novels, for my own poems and those of the late Harvey Plotnick. If I had the power, every Republican would enroll in a course in biologic and not emerge until he or she accepted the fact of evolution. If I had the power, every spouse beater, child abuser, rapist, and female circumcisionist would drop dead. If I had the power, belief in a humanoid God who tells people what to do and who intervenes in history would disappear from the face of the earth. If I had the power, an economic system would emerge that encouraged creativity, renewed the planet, and distributed wealth so that no one suffered in poverty, a condition viewed as morally wrong as slavery. If I had the power, every person at the end of life would have the option of eternal peace, or returning as an intelligent being on another planet somewhere in a universe that will defy entropy and never end.
Hi, thank you very much. That's what I get for people talking to me. And I didn't get that one on. I'm sorry about that. Hi.
Before I called up, next up on my because I'm trying to sprinkle in some women in here. It's been so few of us, and I'm tall enough that you can fill it in. I wrote this poem just a couple days ago, and I don't know. For some reason, I thought maybe Oz would appreciate this. Maybe I don't know. I called this one "Extinct," like the dodo. Didn't have a smartphone on me. Was lost, driving at nights alone. Didn't recognize the streets, so all I could do was pull into a gas station and buy a map. Walked in, looked everywhere, found maps of planet Earth and of the United States, but nothing local. Saw the attendant at the counter, asked him where the maps were. "You didn't see any over there?" he asked. I said no. And he said, "Well, we used to have some there, but now all we have are candy bars there." "Would you like some candy bars?" he asked me jokingly, and I just wanted to know where I was going. "Excuse me, can you tell me where I am? Because I can't find a map. The attendant here couldn't find his way out of a cardboard box. And now I'm lost, because without access to a GPS, it seems that maps have forever flown away, and now they're extinct birds. In the meantime, I really hope my Jerry is ready to come on up here. Please give it up for Jerry Pendergast. Woo!
Thank you, host that gets my name right. Well, we have somebody here from the UK, so this is called Gaps. In London, they say, mind the gap, warning riders about the space between the train and the platform. Commercials used to sing, fall into the gap. Passing a gap outlet, I think of the gap between labor costs and garment worker wages. Should I adore the maquilas where Gap clothing is spun? Should I adore the offices where Gap commercials are spun? I remember slanting, shifting into gaps on the line of scrimmage for stunts, blitzes, goal line defenses called shooting the gaps. A mannequin in a window models pre-ripped jeans. I think of someone restitching, patching a rip from a fall or holes from long time wear and wash. Will a maquila worker mannequin ever model jeans with bullet holes? Punishment for organizing to narrow the gap between her life and the maquila owner, and the Gap board of directors who regret the incident. Will we see a surgeon mannequin trying to close the wound in dim lighting? Blues train picks up speed away from cities, whistling along ending notes. The wheels a clipped percussion. Blues train takes a wide turn. Blues train rambling slowly over slopey terrain, a river in view. Did an ancient traveler ford the Mississippi, the Missouri, the Rio Grande, and think of the Nile, the Senegal? Blues train infuse the bloodstream, soothe the tired muscles of the shiploaders. Blues train lubricate the joints of the dancers, pool players, and the coupling lovers outside the sight of window gazers. This is a 575 equals 17. You can all decide for yourself if it's really a haiku. Slow flowing river, reflecting a leaning tree. Boaters zip jackets. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I don't talk about him that much because his awesomeness so precedes him. Please give it up for the wonderful sidekick that he is, the Bobster himself, Bob Rashkow.
Please come to Uptown Arts Center Friday night, May 22nd, for John Good, Bill Yarrow, Susie Swanton, and others. It's going to be a good reading. This is called Rain and Tears. Rain and tears are the same, but in the sun you've got to play the game. Does anyone know who wrote that? What band did that song? I didn't think so. It's Aphrodite's Child. That's just the epigraph. Actually, they're not. Rain is when all your misery is more made manifest by puddles of sticky, liquid, muddy, floody barriers to getting something done. Tears are real. Tears jump out at you, of you, through you. Crying can be controlled, or it can't. Tears are truth. Not like on the 5 o'clock news, not like in West Side Story. I cry when I'm awed, or when I'm in love, or when I think of how I've wasted eons of valuable time. Then, if it should storm, I can think of the momentary reward of vindication. And this one is old, all but forgotten movies. If I can even remember, it was indeed real. The clipping rang a bell. There we stand, arm in arm, a captured moment, a meaningful reaching. You may have forgotten it all. It doesn't matter. What matters is that I recall. We're in this new, different place, and we're together again. Past and present blend until they become indistinct. I see you now as then. You remember, but not at all the way I imagined you would. Not the way I remember me with you. Not the way I felt about you. Not the way my stomach tilted when you tossed me the ball. Thanks.
Thank you. Hey. I don't know whose this is, and I'm not
I
gonna scroll.
just saw it, it's so cute. I won't scroll it, I promise. So the next person I'm going to call up was really pissed, Jason Noah, that his name was taken on Facebook, and that's why he's listed as Noah with a space in between. And there's plenty of ahs about this guy. Ah, it's Jason Noah, so please, I'm not going to drum this. Please, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Jason Noah. Come on over, my Caroline.
No, in truth, it's Mark Zuckerberg who pisses me off more than anybody. Like, get to San Francisco quick. Like, get there quick before he takes it over. So this is a little bit new, and I haven't really written it yet, but I did it at Wormwood the other night, and everyone was totally trashed, so they liked it. It's a little poem about just how truly cheap and easy I am, which is pretty much like my entire thesis. But for some reason, I've been feeling very Christmassy ever since about January. And so I like set my new poem to "Oh Christmas Tree, Oh Christmas Tree." Gangsta thug, oh gangsta thug, how precious onyx purling, shaking hands, bowing to whom choose to be. I know I'm supposed to say no, but I say yes, collecting blessings. Gangsta thug, oh gangsta thug, however buzzed our ears. Gangsta thug, oh gangsta thug, oh please return my iPad. If you post my dick pics, oh gangsta thug, please tag me. The 3rd year anniversary for this little thing. Stick me in the dirt, wider, longer, beating, bleeding heart. I believe my eyes are open, is end of the circuit nervous to bite both hands. Tear gas decorating 65 South, old boy mouth. Snake in the hollow bell. Neat stammering plastic hood, Tobacco-land sunset, per millennia flood, dumb again. Don't forget to drink your blood, be liar if be true, make me feel so anticlimactic. I convulsed on the floor the same night as the actor no one remembers anymore. Instead of calling medics, I did more. I did more. I did more. Don't forget to forget me pissing without a ticket. Anglo-Saxon in the cheap seats, working real hard to show the world what I could do. Oh, I never dreamt. I had nothing. I had no thing, if not you. Up all night long. Don't forget to burn it all, preparing something cold to drink by the sea. Thank you, Gallery Cabaret.
Thank you. Ah, somebody was tall. I love it. I've got a card here. And I feel really, really bad that the next open record doesn't happen to have a guitar around, because it's a stick around for singer-songwriter night, which is following. But he at least is going to read a poem, so please give it up for the guitar, Jim. Come on, oh my God! Thank you, Well, I do what I can. I gotta be cheesy.
Hello, I'm James P. Burke. I have is it rolling?
No, wait. You turn it.
Sure.
Oh, hold on. I got it. Wait, I got it. Go back.
Hello, I'm a guitar Jim. I usually sing song and I write songs, but I recently published a poetry book. You can go on the internet and find it. It's called The Apocalypse. I rewrote John of Revelation and put it to prose and poem. I don't think anybody's ever done it. I've read several books on John of Revelation. There's several been written, and I've read a lot of them, and I don't think anybody came up with the idea to put it to prose and poem, but I did. It was hard work, and I finished it, and it's on the internet. You go up, The Apocalypse. It's called The Apocalypse, a collection of poems, James P. Burke, B-O-U-R-K-E. And I sing songs, but I only have one poem in the book that I have memorized, and it's a real short and kind of stupid one. I wrote it after a dog bit me on the hand, and my friend had some other lines with it. I helped with this other poet in New York, and so I wrote it. It's called Doggy Doggy. A black Labrador. I was walking down and I wrote it. It's called Doggy. It's the shortest poem in the book, and it's kind of funny, it's stupid, but you could go. It's called Doggy Doggy. It goes, Doggy Doggy in the park. Doggy Doggy likes to bark. Doggy Doggy likes to bite. Doggy Doggy full of fright. Doggy Doggy, he loves to fight.
I thought I was caged into the cameras. We got more camera people recording stuff. I believe, unless there were other open micers that wanted to give you up for something, because I want to make sure that they've got their 20 minutes a pop, which they do right now. They're good. But right now, I'm really looking forward to hearing the wonderful voice of Eric Esden. Please give it up for Eric. Woo! Loves credit.
Thank you. Wonderful. Chicago days. As I close my eyes, I drown deeper and deeper into the retrospective ocean of the past. Kaleidoscopic images flash within the blindness of my eyelids, creating a life of their own that revolved around the timelessness of the inner spirit. It was the best when everything was new, like to a child. It was the connection with the sting that has made me find myself opening the gates of the imagination that lay dormant all those years. Reach out to the city of dreams. It's where my heart belongs. From 1,000 friendships on the few remain true. I love them all, for they are part of me. Just as is the past, yet past is never ending. Summer. The summer is about to begin. The sun, its blast, its rays reflected in your eyes. The rays of white horses, the waves of the sea, speeding to the shore, circling the line, no way to be reached. The sunbath painting your skin, the hot sand burning your feet, the walk along the long beach, singing seagull over your head, a messenger to your dreams. The breeze patting your face, the wind caressing your hair, the time of late night dance, the time of love, the summer is about to begin. Chicago. There are about 2.5 million souls or more along the Lake Michigan shore, east or west of State Street, north or south of Madison Street, long corridor, living more or less peacefully, colors and races, as rich as entire human array. They work, they create, they live their lives, cutting grass, planting or watering flowers, or spraying bullets. Most question it, why? Having in common love of life, the Chicago vibrating heart, variety of music, from rap to swing or blues, the beat of the drums like nails pierced through the plank on construction site, love, indifference, or hopelessness, from outbursts of happiness to the sadness of broken hearts. They do have it all. They sing, they paint, they dance, they play guitar, or compose songs, or late summer nights. They live their lives immersed in the vital fiber of Chicago city blocks. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Oh, sorry. That's what I get for walking up too quickly. Thank you very much.
Was there anybody else that wanted to read it? I see a gentleman that came in, and I don't know if he's here for... No, he said no. He's probably here for singer-songwriter night. Sorry, I don't have any music here. But I decided that I wanted to end with another new one. I've got 2 features coming up in June. Not telling you about them, but I just happen to be writing things for different pieces, and one of them is at Cafe Cabaret, hosted by GPA and Roberta Miles, and that whole thing, everything I'm doing is all about, it's called Rap Sheet, and it's all about the idea of going and dealing with the court system and getting arrested and maybe going to prison, and it's what the whole thing's all about. Which I don't think you want to hear anything from that. I don't think, unless somebody really wants to hear something. But this new one might be coming in the next day, when I will be doing on the 20th 10 Shades of Chocolate, hosted by the soft-spoken poet herself, Campbell. But I thought I would do this one because I think I had to try to go for a romantic feel, but I came up with this. This is called Fuming in the Morning. When I wake up every morning, unlike everyone else, I rip the blankets off of me because I'm boiling hot. Been trying to figure out why. When I wake up every morning alone, I wonder if my missing you manifests itself by leaving me tossing and turning in my dreams until I wake up in a sweat. These must be my red-hot thoughts percolating up inside of me in the middle of the night, leaving me fuming in the morning. This is what I wonder. Is this what being without you makes me do? I think I run to you all night long. When I go to bed at night, after a day without you, I'm ice cold. But my brain spends hours throughout the night in my sleep thinking about us together. It's thinking about trying to find you. It spends hours thinking about what being without you means. And I wake up like I do every morning after feeling like I've mentally run a marathon. And I go about my day alone. Life makes me cold again. And I wonder what it takes to get you back again.
see somebody walking in right now, and I was just going to end the open like Don Hargraves. Would you like to read something, my darling? Sure. I think you would. Yeah, everybody's all excited. Now, I'm going to ask you to do something like, a short piece because we've got 2 features, so in 5 minutes, come on up here. Sure, please give it up for my finale open mic. Give it up for Don Hargraves, my darling. Go and sit and read and such.
Stand and read. I'll do a couple of works, one by this lady named Paula Vegan. She published a book titled The Man Who Was Marked by Winter. See if I can find, here it is. No, that's, let's start with this one. One of my own works. I'll read this one. It's one of my latest works. It's titled, Why My Mother Loved Barry Manilow. After my parents' divorce was made final and Mom and us kids moved into a dumpy apartment, my mother went into an appliance store, remember those? And bought a record player and a couple of long play records. Fleetwood Mac's Rumors and Barry Manilow's Greatest Hits. Needless to say, my hatred was aimed at the quintet with hundreds of photos of themselves on their album sleeves. In love with themselves? A bit much, I would think. And as for Barry, the guy could sing, and having done choir in school, I can appreciate a good voice. His songs weren't half bad either. Much better than the Fleetwood Mac stuff I had to deal with on the Journey or REO Speedwagon that would attack later on. And to be honest, Barry seemed harmless. And that was probably the point. Rock was all about testosterone-fueled men boys trying to sound bigger than life. Sometimes the listener just wanted to sip sweet California wine at a bar while someone cooed sweet nothings in the ears. Multiply that by millions of newly lonely divorcees, and there's plenty of room for someone able to sing multiple climaxes without threatening to force a real one up or down some orifice. There's enough of that in real life. Why watch it strut on stage? That, of course, was what Gaydar was originally about. Ask all the female fans of Cole Porter, Tab Hunter, or Liberace. And while they cannot tell you why they loved whom they loved, at a deep level, they knew what it was. A crush, safely beyond reach. And now that I think of it, there was one Barry Manilow song Mom hated. An interesting little ditty went by the name of Copacabana. Can't help but wonder if there is something about that song that rubbed raw the wounds that the other songs smothered over. Thank you, and I'll leave it at that.
I think that is all. I want everybody to take a 2-minute break. Keep Teresa extra busy, and we will call up our first feature for being for Oz hard work. And thank you all so very much. I'll see you in just a few minutes. Thank you.